Welcome back. Tonight, after playing with this Temu mini belt sander for the past week, Bruce is going to show you what he thinks is the best way to sharpen high-quality knives. Let's get started, shall we?
Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my shop. Tonight, it's a late night, we are in the shop. And I blew out my best light back there, so it's just going to be a little darker tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about sharpening knives and this thing, the belt sander that I reviewed a week ago that I just got brand new in the mail. My goal was to sharpen knives with it. And I tried one I did an unboxing and I did a review, and the very first ones I did, my theories when I very first saw it. That was the one day. Well, I've been working with it for a whole week now, and pretty much every old knife we have in the house is sharp, and I got a method that's going to work. We're going to be working, and I said I wouldn't do this until I was positive it was going to work for me. This is one of my actual chef's knives. I'm a chef. 40 years I've been a chef, just came out of retirement again. It seems like you're never done doing that. But anyway, this is my 12-inch chef knife. I know it looks like something out of a horror movie, but this is my favorite knife. I've had this since early 1990s. I got this in culinary art school. I did go to culinary art school. I don't really have much value on culinary art school. I got most of mine from my experience from actual chefs that I work under. We're not here to talk about any of that. This is German steel. The brand is Frederick Dick. And back in the early 90s, this was top of the line. And I still use it to this day. It's my favorite knife set. There's a bunch of others that go with it. But tonight, we're just going to sharpen this one. I've been leery to sharpen this one this way. I was raised to always use whetstones. My dad taught me the whetstone method. I've got a whole set of whetstones. Sit out there on the back porch and just take your time. And that's what I've always done with this one. But it needs sharpened now. And I'd like to try it with this thing. So let's hope I don't ruin my knives. Okay, if you haven't seen the original video, I'll put a link in the description. You can check out the original unboxing review and how my first thoughts were about it. And tonight we're going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to show you what I came up with to sharpen these knives. And I wouldn't do this if I wasn't confident, especially with my baby here. So the first thing we need to do, the first problem that I mentioned in the other video was I need 15 to 20 degrees brace shelf to hold my knife steady to go across the belt sander. And the actual table they give you on this, I have it right in front of me. Maybe I can hold it up to the camera. I'm going to do multi-angles here in a little bit, but for now, this doesn't give me a 20 degree angle. This is about 90 degrees. It gave me maybe about a 75 degree angle either way. Couldn't do it. So I've been doing it freehand until I come up with this method. And that's what I'm going to show you, the method to get this to work. Pretty good. Good enough that I'm willing to risk my Psycho knife. And what we need is a piece of scrap wood. Yes, I stutter. Scrap wood. This little piece of scrap wood, we're going to cut a 20 degree angle on one of these sides. And, well, let's do that. We'll go to my table saw, and I'll show you how to cut that. If you don't have a table saw and you're unable to do this, well, I don't know what to tell you. Talk to one of your other crafters. Maybe they'll take a minute and do it for you, because you sure as hell can't do this on that mini table saw I reviewed. I'll probably throw a link in the description about that, too. But I'm going to show you another method to do it. Let's just get going to the next step. I'll show you how to cut this.
Okay, we're just going to go through this real quick because it's really plain and simple. I have a piece of scrap wood here. Nothing special. There's no nails in it or nothing. I've used this for other projects. I don't really need it. So we're also going to use this little mini table saw here. It's a skill saw. And I've already set it. There's a nut down here, and you can set the whole table to different degrees. I set it at 18 degrees. That's right between 15 and 20 degrees, which is what I want. And then I moved my fence to where it measures up, and I'm going to get a 20 degree cut on this. So let's go ahead and cut that real quick. Be safe, use a push stick, and I'm going to step off to the left-hand side in case there's any kickback. But this is how this goes. Stepping off to the left to be safe. Then we just guide it through. Okay, I shut it off a little early. I got my cut done, but I did see this little piece starting to fall down in, so cut it off immediately. And there we go. We got a nice 18-degree cut. That should be nice. We're going to show you how to use that. After you do your 18-degree cut, this is obviously too long, so I want to shorten this. And as you can see, I have my table saw set up here, and I have my guide here, and we're just going to take a little bit off the edge of that to fit on to our belt sander. This is actually a table saw unit. It's got a table saw, a jigsaw, which I have down right now, and a disc sander, which is off camera. And I made this myself. I'll do a video about how I made it. It's a nice little workstation if you don't want to spend a lot of money. But let's cut this board. And now we have our piece. I'm not worried about these rough edges. This is what I want. My 20 degrees is right here. And let's take it in the house and finish.
Okay, hi, I'm down here, all tiny. So now we have our little piece that we just cut. Here it is on camera. You can see it's got a nice 18-degree angle. Well, that's between 15 and 20. That's what our knife's going to sit on. But like I said, it's got a few rough edges on it. Wait a minute, we got a belt sander. Let's run those rough edges off real quick. Nice and smooth. Now it's nice and smooth. Not really super necessary if you get a good cut on it, but I want it to be nice. Now, I have two camera angles set up so you can see what I'm doing. Here's my table right here. This is the table that, you're supposed to put stuff on to feed it in. It works fine. It works perfectly fine. It doesn't go to 20 degrees, which is why we made this block in the first place. So what we're going to do, where can I put the block? There's the block. All right, so what I'm going to do is I want to set this table to 90 degrees. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a 90-degree square, rest it on the table, rest it on, because there is a metal piece back there. So I'm going to rest it on that. And I want to make sure this is as close to 90 degrees as I can get it. A little hard because this does move a little bit, but I want to get, I don't want it touching the sandpaper either. And I put my Allen wrench in there, and we're going to just tighten that, get it as close to 90 degrees as we can. Like I said, my block is at 18 degrees. This is at 90 degrees. So whenever I slide the block on here like this, that should be a very nice 18-degree angle. If it's off just a hair, that's okay. It's going to be okay for what we're doing. But I'm going to put that there. And you might be thinking, hey, Bruce, that's fine and dandy. It looks good, but how's that going to stick there? C-clamp. We're just going to clamp it on there with this. I want to make sure this is what I'm going to do first. Well, I'll make sure my C-clamp's open. You got to make sure it's open far enough to go on to begin with. I'm going to put this right up against the paper. I'm going to back it up. And yes, this is a little bit of eyeing it up. Back it up just a little bit. And I want to tighten my clamp to hold it on. These are good clamps, by the way. There's regular clamps. They look like giant clothespins. I have those too, but this is what I grabbed. Now, if you can see where my fingers are on either camera, the little piece of metal table is sticking out. And I want that line, the space, to be even on each end. That way I know it's an even block. So, all right, it seems pretty sturdy. Let's turn it on to a test run real quick. I have the blade coming towards me, so I'm going to hit the left switch. It seems like we're ready to go. Seems like we're ready to go. Now, like I said, this isn't the first time I've done this. I just started over to show you guys. So, I got Big Bertha right here, and this makes me nervous. Now, Big Bertha is not in bad shape. Big Bertha is pretty good. She doesn't have any nicks in the blade, if you can see on the white there. It's not all nicked up. Is that coming out on the camera? Well, you're going to have to take my word for it. But you can see there's a few scratches from wear and tear over the years. I mean, I bought this back in the 90s, and I used it a lot. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to do a test run without turning it on. I'm going to set my blade in there right up against my fence and make sure it's nice and smooth for whenever I turn the machine on. If you can see that, you should be able to see that on each camera. Move my one hand. All right, let's turn around this way so the camera can pick it up better. And set it right on there. And the machine's not on. It's just making sure I can smoothly hit it with no obstructions. Now, I don't know if any camera is showing this up. My clamp is actually in the way. So I'm going to press down my fingers. I'm going to release the clamp. I'm going to back the clamp off a little bit. I don't want any obstructions because then I won't get a true 18 degrees. All right, tighten my clamp again. And we'll measure it up again. It's hard to do this left-handed because I am right-handed. If the camera wasn't here, it wouldn't be a problem. Okay, we are good. Now let me change angles on this camera so you can see better what I'm about to do. We'll do it that way. Let's see if that works better. I feel like that looks a little better. All right, now I'm going to turn my machine on and very carefully use that 18-degree guide to lightly sharpen my blade. I'm going to gently go down here on the angle at the beginning of the knife. Make sure it's resting flat on my cut. And I'm going to stop. My block is not close enough to the sandpaper, so I'm edging it up a little bit. I'm leaving the clamp on there. It's not completely perfect. That looks a little bit better. Now I'm going to run the sandpaper. I'm actually going to let it put a divot in my block. Now you hear it's actually making contact. Let that run for a minute. Now that should be a better contact. Got to take, because if you don't make the right contact, it's just not worth doing. Okay, now we have good contact. We're going to go for real. Don't be afraid to do a couple test runs. Also, the power I'm using on the power supply is right in the middle. It's number 4. It is setting 18, so 18 volts. There's no reason to use 24 volts. You shouldn't be in a hurry to do this. All right, let's do it for real now. Carefully down my block. And there we go. One motion. Keeping it very steady on my angle. Now the tip you got to curl up a little bit, but as long as you keep it on that angle, you should have no worries. Making another pass. Now you'll see on my blade I haven't scuffed it up any. I can tell it's sharper already just by putting my finger on it. That's only one side. Now one thing I did notice is this block did move a little tiny bit. Just enough to make me a little nervous. So we're going to tighten this clamp a little better. I might not have had it tight enough. That seems to be much better. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction for the other side. Double check my little fence there. That's one pass. That's 2 passes. That did a really good job, and it didn't scuff it up. It didn't make it look like heck. A lot of people would take, and I showed you this in the first video, a lot of people would take a Sharpies and they'll color the already ground edges of their blade, and they'll use that as a guide when they get rid of the Sharpies marker, which is what I used. It means it ground enough, it should be good. I don't have a piece of paper sitting here. Let me grab a piece of paper and we'll do the paper test. Okay, this is just plain ordinary paper, nothing special. I take my knife, and all we do for the paper test is we just hold it like this and just let the weight of the knife do the work. Let's find a nice place to hold it. This is how I do. A lot of people think they got to push through. Can you see it on camera? I'm just holding it with 2 fingers, letting the weight of the knife go through the paper, hopefully. That's nice. That'll work just fine. Yeah, that's very nice. I'll hit it with a honing stick, polish it up, and it's ready. What's a honing stick? Let me show you. This is a honing stick. Comes with a lot of knife sets. You might have a smaller version of it in your kitchen knife set. Sometimes they have grooves on them. Sometimes they're nice and smooth. This one is nice and smooth. Once again, the brand is Frederick Dick, F. Dick, made in Germany. And I've had this, came with this knife too. And I've had this for years. There are differences in these sticks, and there's different uses for them too. Some people think they're for sharpening. They're actually not. They're actually not. They are for what's called honing. Let me explain to you what honing is real quick before I show you how to use it and why you should have one and why you should use it. Picture this piece of paper as your knife blade. This is the knife blade coming down, chopping stuff all the time. Chop, 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 onions, carrots, meat, whatever. Well, eventually, a very sharp knife, it's not so much getting dull, but that very tip of the blade will bend over like this. This is an exaggeration, of course. This is microscopic when it actually happens. Excuse me. It's microscopic when it actually happens. But what that does is it makes your blade more of a tearing blade, and it dulls the blade. When you hit it with a honing stick, it actually takes that bend, and you run it along the honing stick, and it straightens it up or gets rid of it sometimes. If you have the ones with the grooves in it, gets rid of it a little better. But I always use the smooth one. So you do both sides to even that bent piece. Like I said, this microscopic bent piece like this, it either puts it back in shape or it knocks it off. So you run your, and I'm not going to do the fancy chef thing, which I can. I'm just going to demonstrate. You go down one side, the whole length of the blade, a couple times, and then the other side. Now, some of those guys can go really fast. I can too. But I'm sitting down, and to be honest with you, I got a couple shots in me. Just do this just a couple times. You don't have to do it a lot. And that's going to maintain your nice, sharp knife. That's how you do that. So, like I said, this is basically my follow-up review on this, I'll put it up here somewhere, this Temu belt sander that I'm advertised using as a knife sharpener. The sandstone on it, which we didn't use today, the sandstone on it, it's okay. It does good if you have a really, really bad knife with a lot of nicks and scratches in it. I didn't use it on my chef's knife. I didn't have to. But from using it this week, I want to see if this comes on camera. From using it this week, a chunk fell out of it. So you have to kind of be careful with it. So I'm still in supporting of this tool. Like I said, a little modification, just putting this block of wood at 18 degrees helped me sharpen this one. And I'm going to do the rest of them off camera. In this sense, doing all of them is going to make the video too long. Well, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share. Check out the other videos. I'll leave links in the description to the original video that I did about this, the original unboxing and review of my first thoughts, and that other Temu table saw that I had reviewed. See if you like it. Leave a like, comment, or not. Have a good day. Hope it helped. I don't know what I'm going to do next. You never know what I'm going to do here. So like and subscribe, and we'll see. Okay, bye.
Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Issy. Leave a comment, like, and share if you like this video. It really helps us out. On another thought, do you really think Bruce should be trusted with sharp knives? Good night.
It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.